Hello and welcome back to the Foundations of Food Safety module with the Global Teach Ag Network. We just talked about what the problems are with the food safety. We talked about where it comes from, how to properly ensure it. But now this is a small glimpse on how to really ensure food safety at home by using the 4 Cs. So a practical guide on how to minimize the lack of food safety concerns and at home. So these are the 4 Cs of food safety at home. So first things first, like you are able to see, for example, directly, we see clean, cook, chill, but there is an S, separate. So separate is really do not cross-contaminate. So it is important that we don't write cross-contaminate because you don't want to cross-contaminate, but separate is really don't cross-contaminate, right? And we'll be going into these in more details, starting with cleaning. So with cleaning, I'm sorry, I'm going to be moving this as I go to make sure that you can see the PowerPoints correctly. Okay, so with cleaning, it really involves washing your hands and surfaces that you're working on very often and washing them well. So with washing your hands, you wash your hands with soap and warm water if you have it, or just soapy water is fine for at least 20 seconds. A good tip to know when 20 seconds is up is humming or singing out loud if you want to the happy birthday song. So happy birthday twice, and that's roughly 20 seconds. So it is important for you to have to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds before, during, and after preparing your meal and before eating as well, to make sure that you're not introducing different microorganisms into your food and into your body. It is also important for you to always wash hands and surfaces after handling uncooked meat, chicken, and other poultry, seafood, and flour and eggs. It is important for you to clean very well the surfaces with soap, the surfaces that have been in contact with uncooked meat, because then that is going to be a source of, again, like we talked about, equipments are important source of microorganisms that will create problems at home. So it is important that you clean very well the places that you're working on, especially if you're handling uncooked food, chicken, uncooked meat, chicken, poultry, and other and eggs. It is also important for you to wash your utensils, your cutting board, your countertops with soapy water, again, after preparing each food item to make sure that we're not introducing these microorganisms as well. I attached a quick little video on proper hand washing techniques, so feel free, the PowerPoints are attached on the lesson, so feel free to stop and use it and look at it and see if you find good tips on like how to scrub between thumbs and everywhere into the video. The second one is separate, quote unquote, not a C, separate, but really don't cross-contaminate, which is the C. So cross-contamination involves the introduction of microorganism from one food to the other. So this is important for you to separate your foods, especially keep separated your raw meat, poultry, seafoods, and their juices away from other foods, especially if that food is not going to get cooked. So don't be preparing meat right next to a salad bowl. Don't be preparing meat right next to or cutting eggs right next to other parts of the sandwich that are not going to get cooked, because then if the eggs put some salmonella into the tomatoes that you're not about to cook, then you have cross-contaminated and you have a bigger risk of getting sick. And this is important in your cart at a grocery store, in your fridge at home, or the cutting board that you're using in your kitchen. And then there is a big misconception, and with watching chicken, that washing chicken will reduce will reduce microorganisms on the chicken. It doesn't, and we will talk about a little some of the other myths. Scientifically speaking, it has been shown that washing your chicken does not significantly reduce microorganisms on it. If anything, it has been shown to just increase the risk of spreading the germs and foodborne and potentially sources of foodborne illnesses in your kitchen. So you don't need to wash the chicken, especially not with splashing water in your sink, because then the water is going to spread everywhere. And then if it is not properly sanitized and cleaned, which is really, really hard to achieve, it will spread to the other foods that you're cooking. So avoid cross-contaminating. The next thing is cooking properly, cooking to the right temperature. There's so many temperatures that are introduced, but like the internal temperatures of different foods, I've attached like a good list of different foods cooking temperatures in here as well. But for whole cuts of meat, the lamb, so that includes the steak, and as long as it reaches an internal temperature of 145 Fahrenheit and 63 Celsius, then the food it has reached a higher enough temperatures to kill the germs that can make you sick. Then for the poultry, including ground chicken and turkey, it needs to get to a slightly higher temperature, which is 165 or Fahrenheit or 73.9 degrees Celsius. And then ground meat, again, those have been manipulated much more than just the whole cuts. So there is potential that microorganisms are all the way inside the meat. So the internal temperature is again slightly higher with 71 degrees Celsius or 160 Fahrenheit. So safety speaking, cooking meat to the right internal temperature is the only way to guarantee harmful microorganisms have been destroyed. It is important for you to invest in a cooking thermometer. However, if you really cannot afford a thermometer, there is no chance that, because I understand this is also being taken by different people from different places with different resources and abilities. If you can afford a thermometer, it's really important for you to always overcook. But getting a thermometer does take away the risk of overcooking, because as long as they reach the internal temperature of what levels, then you can still eat slightly medium well done steak instead of like over well done steak, for instance. So when in doubt, I always suggest you overcook your food. If you have no thermometer, make sure your meat is thoroughly all the way cooked. I always make this joke and say eat your food almost slightly closer to the burnt stage to make sure that the microorganisms is completely killed. Some people have mentioned, and again, I repeat this, there is absolutely no way to accurately tell that the food is completely safe to eat if you don't use a thermometer and get the food to the internal temperature that it needs to be at. But the use of a visual, like looking at the meat and making sure there is no red in the meat, the water, the liquids that are coming out of it is clear, have been some of like the things that have been talked about in the industry on how to ensure that it is all the way well done. But the best scientifically proven to work method is to invest in a cooking thermometer. It is unfortunate, but it's the practical, only guaranteed way that I can tell you, all right, food is indeed free from microorganisms. So when in doubt, just overcook. Then the last one is refrigerate promptly. Again, do not leave the food out of the fridge for bacteria to rapidly multiply at room temperature or in danger zones. So danger zones is like the temperature at which the microorganism will rapidly multiply, and that's 5 to 60 C. So ensure that your food is still hot enough, or then if it starts cooling down and the microorganism will start growing, then put it in the fridge so that it's lower at the 4 degrees Celsius. So throw out food before it spoils. There is a good list of like the cold food storage chart that I added on here for you to be referring to. And so, yeah, that concludes our guidance of how to ensure we minimize the risk of getting foodborne illnesses at home by following the 4 Cs of food safety at home. And we will then be concluding our food safety module with some practical examples. We'll then be moving into the summaries and understand what happened in what we learned in all the other modules, and concluding on our food safety module in all. Thank you.